Beetlejuice Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Oops, I don't think I'm supposed to say that. But wait, I only said that because what if that actually is the name of the third movie? Yes, you heard that right. A third movie for Beetlejuice is possibly in the works after the 2024 sequel's massive success with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, starring the original cast of Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, and Michael Keaton, alongside a new addition, Jenna Ortega, playing Lydia's daughter, Astrid. To brief you all, the original movie follows the story of a deceased couple, the Maitlands, who seem to have a difficult time haunting their own house to remove a newly moved-in family, who then decide to summon this bio-exorcist to do the job for them.
This is our Beetlejuice. Now, the way this movie is a cult classic and one of the best supernatural comedies of its era, we of course had no choice but to make a video on it. Tim Burton and his Burton-esque movies have become an unshakable part of pop culture. After the original movie in 1988, expecting a sequel almost seemed like a delusion, but 36 years later, that delusion turned into reality in September 2024 with the release of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, shaking up pop culture once again. And this time, the success was so big that the talks of another movie being made are already happening. Should we break down the commercial success metrics, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice finished its theatrical run with about $451 million worldwide, which included $294 million from the domestic audiences and around $157 million from the international audience. Meanwhile, their reported budget was $100 million. The strong relevance of the original 1988 movie gave rise to high expectations, which were definitely met by the sequel. It dominated the film industry. This kind of success naturally calls for a sequel, and by April 2025, Warner Brothers was already cooking something behind the scenes, hinting at a possible third Beetlejuice. In an interview with The Deadline, Warner Brothers Pictures co-chairs and CEOs Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi talked about a third installment, which would begin soon. When asked about a possible sequel to the 2024 movie, Mike DeLuca, imminently, the ink might not be dry on the deals yet, but imminently, deadline, April 2025. This was the first update on the third Beetlejuice movie, but it is something still in talks, not something that has been finalized. This is very important to keep in mind, because without an affirmative nod from the producers, writers, and the cast, actually filming cannot begin. As far as sources are available, no particular script has been finalized either. No widely reported studio updates have happened in 2026 yet, so it is possibly still in the early development stage. But we have not talked about the major issue yet. What if the main director himself is unaware of the conversations happening about a new movie? Because that is exactly what Tim Burton said. When asked about Warner Brothers publicly discussing Beetlejuice 3, his response was unexpected. Tim Burton, really? Nobody told me. Maybe I've been replaced. This moment came as a shock to everyone, but Burton went further and revealed how he wasn't even rushing to make a third part for it, especially considering the realistic time period required to finish making another movie. This point was already brought up by him in one of his earlier interviews as well, in 2024, where he talked about the low possibility of a third movie, joking about how it would possibly take another decade and how he would be too old then. Tim Burton, it took 35 years to make the second one, so by that time, I'll be 105. I know those odds are not good. So simply speaking, Warner Brothers wants another movie, but the filmmaker responsible for this whole franchise himself is hesitant to do so. Now, Tim Burton's words may seem like a PR stunt, the truth behind which I am not much aware of, but what I do know is how Burton had felt about coming back for the 2024 sequel, not for some commercial follow-up, but for personal reasons connected to where he was in his life at that moment, and for related creative purposes. This just shows how he is not interested in films for its mere financial success, but for genuinely creating something he feels connected to. The Hollywood Reporter had then interviewed Jenna Ortega, asking her about working in the possibly new movie without Burton being there in the director's seat, and her response was clear-cut and straightforward. It was a no. Jenna Ortega: "Oh, I would never. I also think anybody would be really wrong to get behind that project. Without him involved, what is it? It is what it is because of Tim. There's no other film you can compare Beetlejuice to, so why would you do that? That would be a tad disrespectful." She definitely made that one clear, and honestly speaking, I agree with her. The maker always should have a say in his or her movies. Notice how what she said wasn't just about some preference. Tim Burton being present for the third movie is non-negotiable prerequisite for her, which just means that for Warner Brothers to be able to bring back the whole cast for this movie, they seem to have no choice but to involve Burton rightfully, especially after Astrid's character gained popularity in the 2024 film, represented by Jenna. What about the thoughts of the rest of the cast? In October 2024, Michael Keaton spoke to E! News about possibly working on the new sequel, and he had a very positive response indeed. Michael Keaton, "Oh man, I'd do it every year." However, this comment was made by him in 2024 prior to Tim's revelation about being unaware of a third possibility. So no matter how Keaton's enthusiasm was real, we don't know if his answer would be different in the current times or not. On the other hand, Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara have yet not made any definitive public statements regarding the new movie, and no cast member has been officially signed or announced yet. But apart from these matters, if the movie was to release, what would it even be about? There have been no plot details that have been confirmed either, so making any speculations is difficult. Any assumptions made could be done mostly on the loose ends of the previous 2024 movie, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. For example, what's the mystery with Lydia's odd connection with the bio-exorcist Beetlejuice? Or what about Astrid's connection with the afterlife? These might be some things that could be addressed in the new movie, but none of them are confirmed yet. Even the title isn't confirmed yet. However, fans have been speculating about how the title could have an ironic twist to it, with something like Beetlejuice Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, since saying the name 3 times is a no-no in the movies. If you know, you know. And if it actually becomes the title, that would be fun. Once again, this title isn't confirmed, it is all speculations. So where does this leave us? To wrap things up in a more clean manner, I'll summarise what we know up until now. Will Beetlejuice 3 happen? It might just so, as Warner Brothers brought it up in their interview in April 2025, saying it would happen imminently. Apart from this one piece of information, we honestly have not been given much. Tim Burton seems to be unaware of this idea, which would be a hard thing to watch if it actually happened. Jenna Ortega is against the idea of starring in the third movie without Tim as the rightful director, as told to The Hollywood Reporter in 2025. Michael Keaton seems to be interested in working again for the movie, as told to E! News in October 2024, and no confirmed plotline, script or any release date is in sight. With all these things, we also have the important unresolved point of whether Burton at all wants to make another sequel to his movie, as he expressed doubt about it in his interview with The Hollywood Reporter even in 2024, because if he isn't interested in it, we won't see Jenna Ortega starring in it either. However, if everything somehow aligns smoothly, the earliest possible year for the film release seems to be 2027, but 2028 seems to be a more perfect year, as it would be the original film's 40th anniversary. Seems crazy, right? How fast time passes by. These dates are, again, just assumptions and not confirmed dates. For now, Beetlejuice 3 seems like a hopeful wish. Maybe just like the 2024 sequel, it ultimately happened, although after 36 years, this movie may also happen the same way. Who knows, honestly. All I know is that this franchise surely deserves another movie to add to it, as I am always a fan of Burton-esque movies, and honestly, you should be too. All we can do right now is just wait and hope for new updates very soon. Till then, let us know in the comments down below what you thought of the existing 2 movies of Beetlejuice, and what you're expecting from the new one, if it releases at all, which characters intrigue you the most, and what are your thoughts about the movie that might not involve Burton at all. That is all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. See you lot next time.